When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.
Cool.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Touchline Fracas, the interview edition. Today I'm here with a special player. Can you introduce yourself, bro?
You got here Joshua Maja, 21 years old, footballer for Bordeaux. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be chatting to you guys. And yeah, let's see what gets on.
Thank you. First of all, I appreciate you for coming on. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? What was the first bit you said? Something Bordeaux. I've never heard it being called that before. What's the full name?
Girondin.
Sick. I see you're working on your French pronunciation and that.
Yeah. I'm doing my bit now.
You're doing your...
I ain't got no excuses at the moment.
That's hard still. Yeah, man. So, lockdown, we've been planning this for a while, and one of the questions I just wanted to ask you, because before we even were doing the back and forth regarding doing the interview, obviously lockdown and COVID was happening, and then eventually come out that the French league was going to stop and it was going to restart. So the standings are what it is. But what have you been doing during lockdown? I'm hearing about French lessons and stuff like that. How's lockdown treating you? What have you been on?
It's been treating me well. I mean, this is like the first time I've been able to stay at home with my family in like 4 years for this amount of time. So Jesus. I'm really enjoying it, man. I'm keeping busy, studying, reading, working on my game, staying physically fit. Obviously, we got the Bordeaux program now to keep going and doing every week. So yeah, it's going well. I'm enjoying my time.
Cool. That's hard. Cool. So kind of going on to other things. So currently, right now, the world is currently going through it. Black people going through it. As you see here, in the UK. In London specifically, I know throughout the UK, but there's a lot of protests, Black Lives Matter protests in the US. I think 50 states protested, just about Black people and their rights and what happened to George Floyd. Do you have what are your comments on that? What are your feelings on that? And how do these things kind of affect you?
For me, obviously, yeah, we've got this thing that's going on now where there's a lot of protests, and obviously what happened to George Floyd was absolutely disgusting, and the fact that that's not the first incident and there's been so many cases is what makes it even worse. And just being able to protest now and obviously have the movement going on now is obviously great for us to try and get our voices heard and obviously come together and support each other. And I think right now is the moment where we need to capitalize and make sure that our voices are heard and that there is change in the near future, not now and then after the protest nothing happens. I think the main thing is for the protest to actually make a difference in the future, and hopefully we're able to do that. But for me personally, growing up as a Black kid and a Black man right now, there was obviously instances where you could tell like that there was double standards and people are treated differently, especially growing up, coming through youth academies where there was a lot of white players, and it was tough. But for me, it wasn't a big deal personally. But yeah, I think a lot of people go through different cases and deal with it differently. And for me, I'm a strong kid, so I was able to break through it and obviously get to where I am now.
Yeah, no, that's sick, man. Especially, it's funny you touch on football because, when you grow up, you definitely, and again, you're there, you're playing,
Mhm.
but like, and you've definitely experienced it, but you always know there's some type of bias towards, you know,
Yeah,
maybe the white players or whatever. And even when it comes to maybe positions or whatever, you may have wanted to play centre mid, but nah, like, do you know what I mean? The techie white you is always in the middle or
yeah,
whatever. So yeah,
yeah,
I've been there still. So yeah, I understand it, but again, you managed to navigate it, and
yeah.
I'm happy to see, you know, where you're at, where you currently are, and do you know what I mean? Talent, man. Yeah, I mean, it will always rise to the top.
Yeah, always hard work and talent and focus and belief in yourself and the right guidance as well, because obviously
Mm,
that could affect a kid. And if you don't have the right people in your life to help you get through it and make sure you're going on the right track, then you could go off. And I'm lucky I've got a good background, good family to make sure I was going the right way.
yeah, no, that's because I done a interview 2 weeks ago with Adam Jamili, GB Sprinter, and that's what one of the things he said. Do you know what I mean? His parents and whatever, him having his parents and the guidance around him and having that unit
Mm,
allowed him to kind of progress and be an
yeah,
elite athlete in a different sport
yeah,
to use. So yeah, no, that's again
man.
lovely to hear. When I was doing my research, I come across a few things. I hope that I'm right, but yeah, um, I saw that you grew up at City. I never knew that, which was quite interesting.
Man,
Um, yeah, it said that when I was reading something, it said that you played for Man City as a kid.
yeah, I went there for 6 months. I was there
Sick,
for 6 months. Yeah,
sick.
but
What?
that was
How did that turn out, and how did that come back? Because when I'm suggesting when you was at City, that's when they were just getting good, right? Or
I think it was just before, around
just
that
before they
time.
was getting good. Okay. So
Yeah.
how was the academy then?
It wasn't. It was. We were at the old training ground, so it wasn't a new complex,
Hmm.
but it was still top quality, and obviously they had quality players. And just to go there was a great opportunity, and obviously I was blessed to get the opportunity to train and to play. I played a couple of games with them as well, so yeah, I
Hmm.
mean it was a good experience and one I was grateful for.
Interesting. I don't know if you're allowed to say, but what team do you actually support?
I support football. I like watching good football.
I love that answer
But
still.
but if I was to pick, I'd say Arsenal. Because
Arsenal,
I
yeah.
grew up around there. My brothers, we all support Arsenal, apart from my older
Cool,
brother. But yeah,
cool. And just kind of like looking at Arsenal and that, if you had, you know, you was in control like the transfers and stuff like that, who would you think like Arsenal should kind of get into their squad? 'Cause I'm kind of looking at their squad right now. We have a lot of Arsenal fans that look at this. Who would you say there's one player in the world you think that Arsenal currently need?
it's a tough question. They need a few. They need a few players right now. um,
Yeah.
I've heard they've been linked to Thomas Partey from
Okay.
Madrid.
Baller.
Yeah,
Top baller.
good midfielder, all-round midfielder, and I think he would make a big difference to Arsenal. So I'd probably say
Yeah.
him, just because
Sick.
of the impact I think he would have on,
Sick.
on the team. Yeah, I think attacking
Cool.
wise, they've got enough quality.
Yeah.
So I think
Top.
just midfield and defensively, they need some backup still.
Yeah, no, I get it. So then we're gonna kind of progress and we're gonna look at like Sunderland because that's the first time I heard your name. Do you know what I mean? Sunderland, Wonder Kid. Just kind of touch on, bro. I used to hear the name. I used to hear like Wonder Kid. I was like, all right, cool. I was keeping an eye out. You know, I was hoping that you could have come to my club that I support, but do you know what I mean? You know, things go on.
Who you
But
sure?
Man United.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. I was hoping though, boy, if the peas is there, who knows? If
Anything
the
can
peas
happen.
is there, do
Anything
you
can
know
happen.
what I mean? Anything can happen. But yeah, that's when I kind of heard about you. How was your time at Sunderland? And do you know what's funny? 'Cause I saw something called Netflix, that Sunderland show, and I was supposed to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. I
No,
think you might have been in there. Yeah, I think you might have been in
yeah, I
there
was
innit, or
just,
something. Yeah.
need
They,
to give
I
it a
haven't.
watch.
Shall I watch it? Yeah.
Need to give that a watch
All
still.
right, cool. I'm definitely going to watch it. But yeah. So how would you kind of sum up your time at Sunderland and kind of like how was it? Because that's it's a massive team.
Yeah.
Big city, yeah. So how's your time there?
I'd say my time there overall was obviously great because of what I was able to achieve and being able to go from Sunderland to Bordeaux. And obviously from the start, going through the youth, and I was able to learn a lot. I obviously progressed my game and was able to get guidance from coaches and from obviously training in the first team at such a quick period. So obviously I was there, and then maybe 6, 7, 8 months into getting there, I started training the first team. And obviously,
And you laughed. And you laughed when I said Wonder Kid. Come on, man. Be serious. Be serious, bro. Be
well,
serious. Be serious.
I'm humble. I'm humble. I keep it
Oh,
humble.
humble. All right. Go on.
So yeah, and then obviously training with the first team, I was able to learn a lot. Obviously, they had quality players playing Premier League football, and yeah, it was obviously a time where I was able to progress my game and obviously come up against bigger, stronger players. And I think, yeah, that was just a good opportunity for me. And I was able to keep learning, keep working on my game and just getting advice from experienced players. So,
Sick.
yeah.
Who would you say there was a player that, really kind of took you on the wing when you was at Sunderland and kind of gave you that advice or was kind of like there trying to make, steer you on the straight and narrow? How was it in regards to the senior players there?
Yeah, the senior players were great. I mean,
Amazing.
in the training session, there was always that pressure to perform and to keep the high standards. So I think going in there, Jermaine Defoe was probably one of my biggest admirers because I think he just liked the fact that I was good at finishing.
He went to
And
my secondary school. Shout out Defoe.
serious.
Yeah, shout out Defoe
That's
still.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he liked me a lot, and he was able to give me advice on different tips and different ways of finishing and disguising the keeper, disguising defenders, and short back lift, different techniques. And it was a good time because suddenly we're doing well, and I was learning and I was getting experience from that, and yeah, I was enjoying my time.
Who would you say is the kind of the best player you played with at Sunderland, or kind of the player that you say maybe in training, yeah, this guy now next level.
There's a few. I'd say Defoe, just because small-sided games, he was the go-to guy. Small-sided games,
Yeah,
if you had him in your team, you're most likely to win. You're most likely to win. So I say him. But there's obviously a lot of quality players. There was Wabi Kazri. There was Patrick Van Aanholt. There was Johan Kirkhoff. I don't know if you know him.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of talented players, and it was just obviously a blessing to be able to train with them consistently.
yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely want to say shout out Patrick Van Aanholt because he's very vocal on Twitter, being very vocal
Is
using his platform. Yeah, vocal, bro, vocal. So shout him out still.
Pick him up.
One thing I wanted to ask is Uh, so you guys, when you was at Sunderland, there's you got the enemy, which is Newcastle United or whatever. How was it at like youth level? So I'm quite interested because obviously at senior level derbies or whatever, did you play any derbies at youth level? And is that intensity there at youth level that this is a derby, we gotta make sure we win? Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? And that
yeah.
extra motivation.
The mad thing is when I went there on trial, I played in the derby. It was my second game for them on trial, and I played in the derby, and it was intense. It was physical. There was tackles flying in. The weather was terrible, and even the fans on the side were kind of like
Or on it.
vocal. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a good experience, and I think I did okay in the games. And yeah, it was. If you win the game, then you got bragging rights, and everyone's talking about it for the next God knows how long until the next fixture. So yeah, it was intense, and
that's
we
hard.
did they did their thing a few times, and it was a good battle.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
sick. One thing that I'm excited about is I see that you made your debut from Nigeria.
Mm.
Yeah. That's big. I totally yeah. I mean, I'm loving that, and now I'm looking at the squad. I'm saying, okay. There's a few man in here.
Big ballers.
Yeah, there's a few ballers in here, and I'm saying, all right, cool. The man them are coming true still. The man them are coming true, and I'm loving it. Like I'm loving it. You made your debut for Nigeria. Before I ask you about a few other players, how was that? Like, how did you feel? Do you know what I mean?
It felt great, man. It felt good. I got on for maybe 5 minutes. It was against
Yeah,
Ukraine. And yeah, just to play and just to wear the Nigeria top, representing my family and my country was a great feeling. And yeah, man, it was good. I mean, I think we drew that
yeah. I
game.
think you drew 2-2. I can't remember. I have to double check.
So the feeling after was okay. So we were satisfied, and because Ukraine are a good side, so yeah,
Yes, yeah. Big side, man.
but yeah, there's a lot of good players coming through now, and we're just hoping to really establish ourselves, and hopefully I'm able to get more opportunities to play. We'll see
Yeah.
what the future holds, but yeah.
So does that mean because you played in that game? Does that mean that now you've committed to Nigeria? Or let me not phrase that question that way.
I think
Because you
it's
played in that game. Oh, it's a friendly, so you still have a choice.
I still have the choice.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
My choice is more or less made up.
Oh, sick. I didn't want to ask no questions. Do you know what I mean? That maybe, do you know, maybe that choice could have been pending or whatever. But yeah. No. All right, cool. No, that's sick. I'm happy because it's funny that you even said that your choice is pretty much made up because again, one thing I say is like the real talented players making decisions really early and getting that international football. Do you know, and then even when you look at the squad is levels. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm looking at, especially in the midfield and attacking areas, the squad is levels. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, no, I definitely love that. And you know, even I don't know, is a Garlo still in the squad because bigger Garlo's at Man United now.
I think he's retired now.
He's retired, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's retired.
Cool.
So.
No, that's sick though, man. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, man. So a player that you played with in Nigeria was Victor.
Victor Osimhen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Victor Osimhen. Yeah. How so when you see the development from then to kind of now, because now I was seeing maybe 2-3 months ago articles linked with 80 million pound deals and whatever, and do you know what I mean? There's loads of articles like that. Yeah, but one thing I want to say is like you've obviously trained with him, played with him, or whatever. How do you feel like he's progressed on? And
Yeah,
do you know what I
man,
mean?
he looks very good. Obviously, you can see he's clinical. But training with him, he's got an intensity and a fight, and that's one thing I can definitely take from him and use in my game for sure. And yeah, just seeing him do what he's doing, scoring regularly for Lille, and obviously represent his country very well is obviously great to see. And yeah, I think he's made big steps in such a short period of time, and hopefully he keeps flying high and doing his thing.
Yeah, no, that's sick. So like now you left Sunderland, you're at Bordeaux now. So you know, you get a quote from Bordeaux. You're currently at Bordeaux. How was it playing in a whole different league, and how's the language barrier? Because sometimes you might want the through ball. And manage, and do you know what I mean? I don't know. Did you learn the word for through ball quite early, or how was that?
Not the word for through ball, but the word for the word pass is simple. It's a simple word, so I think
What's the word for pass?
passe or
Pass. Oh, come on, that's nice. That's easy. That's easy.
simple. So
Yeah.
for me, it was difficult learning the language, but actually affected me during training and games. It wasn't that big a deal because even in some games you can't hear anyone. So
Oh, swear down.
yeah. When it's
Sick.
loud, obviously you can't really hear too much. So you kind of just have to go with the flow of the game and the tactics of the game, and yeah, more time it doesn't affect you that much. But for me, learning the language is very important, and I need to make sure I stay on it. And hopefully in the next few months I start speaking fluent.
No, I love that, man. I love that, you've gone to a new country and you've made the effort, you're making the effort and you have made the effort to learn a new language. Like even your pronunciation, you know what I mean? When you first come through with the Bordeaux thing, I'm still confused, but when you first come through was superb. Because I used to learn French like when I was like 16 or whatever, and I kind of stopped. So I know that was a certified pronunciation
It's
still.
difficult.
Ah,
Yeah.
100, because of like the feminine and then like the
Yeah,
masculine
feminine,
type of thing.
masculine, and
Yeah.
there's so much to understand, but that's what the work's for. You got to do the work, and
Yeah, no, that's sick. One thing I wanted to ask as well is, so okay, now you're playing in the French league. Is it still called the Uber Eats League or Ligue 1 or
Ligue
Ligue
1.
1? Yeah, so you're currently at Ligue 1. What is the difference between, Ligue 1 and say English football? Because, a running joke on football Twitter is that Ligue 1, the Uber Eats League or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's just like the running joke or whatever. But now you've played there. You
Yeah.
are, do you know what I mean? You're the one to kind of give us
Right.
what you actually think. So
Yeah.
what would you
For
say?
me, yeah, there's a big difference. Obviously, the English league is very fast paced and the intensity is, I'd say, higher because of the fact that the ball is back to front so often. So I think for me, the Ligue 1 is very tactical and obviously the tempo is slower, but the demand for quality is very high. And I think people don't realize that there's a lot of quality in that league. Um, Going into games, it takes a lot to be the difference. Obviously, you got PSG who mainly they just beat everyone, but they have a lot of quality. So they do that because they have that quality, and they probably do that to most teams in England. So
Hmm.
I think for the average teams, it takes a lot of quality and tactical and technical play to be the difference in games. And obviously, if you see most of the scores, they're not high scoring games between average teams. So I think for me, the league's a close league. Maybe apart from PSG, there's still like the gap between second and maybe 18th, 19th isn't that big. So I think, yeah, Ligue 1 is a quality league and I'm enjoying playing in it. I'm enjoying learning new style and just progressing that game.
Sick. You mentioned PSG there, and when I done my research, I saw you was on the bench versus PSG. But you're there, you're seeing people, you're seeing players. Do you know what I mean, live and direct?
Yeah.
So there's because I've got bare genders on football Twitter. So do you know what I mean? Like I'm the gender guy when it comes to Mbappe or Neymar, all of these players and that. Yeah, I'm very very vocal. But you got to see obviously Mbappe, Neymar,
Yeah.
up close and direct.
Yeah.
What would you say in regards to Mbappe and Neymar, seeing them up close and direct? Like, is the hype warranted? Do you know what I mean? How do you feel about those
Yeah, hype
players?
is warranted. You can
Yeah,
have this like feel for the game where you know that when they're on the ball, they're going to do something. And
sick.
playing against them, obviously, they have a lot of quality around them, so
Hmm.
that when they do get the ball, they have time and they're able to do whatever they want, really. So I think for me, yeah, the quality is there, obviously, and we see it week in, week out. And just playing against them was a great experience and a great opportunity to learn and see what the difference is between them and the rest. Because you're always wondering what are they doing differently. And when you see it live, you know that they're in the game. They're gonna make a difference. They're gonna do something. So, yeah, for me, the quality there is warranted. They're standout players and they make things happen on the pitch.
Cool. Um, One thing, like, just staying on that, Mbappe. So, a lot of people tout him as one of the, world's best players, naturally, which is, warranted. He's done a lot, won the World Cup, etc., or whatever. Um, just another player I personally compare him against is like Rashford. Yeah, so I compare him against Rashford, and I would like to know, just from your perspective, you guys play like similar positions or whatever. Where do you think, do you think the gap between Rashford and Mbappe is a big gap, or do you think it's closer than people think? Because people just say when I'm talking, people just say, nah, like the gap is this and Mbappe's here and whatever's there and whatever. And for me, do you know what I mean? I personally just, when I look at the players, I don't see the gap in the players. I see the gap in the teams.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than the players. Because that's your position, I would just want to know how you feel in regards to that.
I'd probably say that the gap isn't that big. I think because of the fact that Mbappe is able to do it week in, week out, because of the level of team he's at and who he's playing against. I think because the quality of Rashford's teammates probably isn't as high as the quality at PSG, and they're obviously playing against a more tough opponent. I think it's obviously more difficult for him to make his mark. But I think in big games, you see Rashford always comes up and he scores or he makes a difference. So I think you can't knock him. He's doing his thing, and yeah, I mean, it's clear he's a top player.
Yeah, no, around you guys' age, there are some, wonderful players. Couple years younger than you, couple years above you. Even at your age, you got like Sancho. Have you played with Sancho just like training or whatever? And is that something you know personally? Yeah, okay. And how do you think like how he's progressed? Because similar to you was in England and you've gone to a different league to kind of play your football. And I that's something that we love. Like when at Touchline, we love players that have left England and gone to make their name. Or you might have had a name in England and gone to, a foreign league and made an even bigger name in that foreign league or whatever. So how do you think of like what he's doing in Germany and, how he's doing and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear he's enjoying his football. He's starting week in, week out, starting big games, obviously playing Champions League football as well. And yeah, I mean, it's great to see because it gives other players that belief that you can do that as well. And I think for Sancho, he's obviously a very talented player, and he's proven that he's not just skill, he's end product. And nowadays, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for that end product and to be able to make the difference in games. And he's doing that, which is amazing to see. And obviously, he's shining a light for players from London and from the UK to make that step abroad if they need to. So yeah, I think he's paving the way.
Whereabouts in London are you from? Like,
originally from Pimlico, South London. Pimlico,
there's something special about you South London ballers. I don't know what it is, but there's something special about the water.
There's a lot, isn't there?
Yeah.
It must be the cage football. I don't know.
In fact, I knew he was going to say that because that's something Sancho said on a few occasions, but it actually does work. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's something special about that. So just a couple questions like that I got from a couple of the lads before we wrap up. Who is the best player you've played against?
I would say Neymar. Has to be Neymar.
Neymar. Oh, yeah, madness.
It was Neymar. Not many. Mbappe, but right now I'm going to say Neymar just because, yeah, Mbappe's different.
What do you think about the gap between them two quickly, Neymar and Mbappe? Do you think there's much of a gap there?
I don't think there's much of a gap.
It's what you like.
Depends what you prefer. I think Mbappe is the finished article and obviously has moments of magic, but I think Neymar is constant magic as well as being a difference in games. So for me, I would pick Neymar as a player that I prefer to watch, but for my team, I'd probably say Mbappe.
Cool. And who was the player growing up? You kind of looked at, he's like, I want to be like that player. Or if there's a couple, it's up to you.
I would say Ronaldo, when he was obviously playing in the Prem, he was the first person where I was like, wow, this guy, he's just, he's different. He's always he's in the moment. Every game he's doing something. So yeah, I think Ronaldo. And then as I grew up a bit more, I grew to Messi, And yeah, it's been messy ever since.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no point in me asking you in the Messi to Ronaldo debate. Yeah, you it already is. Whatever. Cool. So if you're playing FIFA, yeah, who's the first team you go and pick? So who's your go-to team? Cause I know some pagans on FIFA are always going to Liverpool straight away. Are you one of them ones?
Barcelona guy. I'm a
Barcelona guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona.
Cool.
After what Liverpool did to Barca, yeah, I can never pick Liverpool.
You can never pick.
Never forgive them.
No. Yeah, no, I get that still. And then just kind of like wrapping up. So as we said at the start, the season's kind of ended. What are your targets for next season? So personally, what do you feel like would be a good season for you? And then what do you feel like would be a good season for the team?
For me personally, just to start more games and get more experience. I think obviously last season I wasn't able to play from the beginning as much as I wanted, but obviously that's football. We need to work hard and earn your spot, and hopefully this season I can take that in to pre-season and into the season and hopefully get more opportunities to play and just performing well, just slowly progressing my game, hopefully making my mark in games and performing at a high level and just consistently playing and growing. And for the team, just do better than this year, really. I mean, we have a target for pushing for the top 6, and I think we're able to do that if things go away and if we perform at a high level and get the results we want. Obviously, some games you won't get the results we deserve. Some games we won't. We will get the results we deserve. So hopefully we need to just keep working hard and push ourselves to be better, and hopefully we can get to where we want to reach to.
Yeah, no, that's sick. That's sick. That's good targets, man. Getting into the top 6. In France, the top 6 makes Europa, right?
I think it's top 5.
Top 5, damn. Now we need to get to the top 5. I need to see you in Europe, bro. I need to. God willing, bro. I need to see you in Europe. I need to see you in Europe, bro. But yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it, bro. Really appreciate the time. Is there any last words you want to say or whatever to like people that are your fans, Sunderland?
Covered most things.
Yeah. All right, cool. No worries, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.